Obviously very motivated for this fight. I'm getting some similar vibes to the rematch with Piotr Jan. I'm sure it's not exactly the same, but how does this one compare to that fight? And do you feel like there's a bigger chip on your shoulder for this one?
No, I mean, all these challenges they're relatively the same. It's just different puzzles, different pieces, having to game plan the right way, making sure you bring in the right training partners and whatnot. Those are literally the main things, the main formula for a successful training camp. So I think we did a relatively great job with that. I think I'm in a really good headspace, and this guy's gonna need lightning to strike to beat me on Saturday night.
Sean may not like you, and I'm sure the feeling is mutual, but he does respect what you have accomplished in this sport. He says you're the greatest bantamweight of all time. He said that multiple times. What have you made of his resume to this point and what he has accomplished thus far?
I mean, his resume is it's okay. He did what he was supposed to do with the talent that was put in front of him, the same thing I have done over the years. The difference is that the caliber of opponents and opposition that I face is night and day. I don't think there's anyone in the UFC other than Piotr Jan that he's beaten that's still in the UFC. And you can't say the same for my resume and the opponents that I face over the years. Other than that, he's a tough competitor. I know he's done his homework. He's going to come prepared. He's got a great team behind him. And I just look forward to smashing him and showing them that there's levels to this.
You've been a guy who has envisioned his own career, sort of every step that you've taken. You've seen it and then you've done it. How cool is it, however, to actually see yourself on billboards around town knowing that you're fighting for a world title?
Yeah, I've been getting, saying this a lot lately, but it just feels like it's meant to be right now. It's like this is my time. I've seen this kind of playing out over my career. I said before, I even fought Alfred on the Contender Series that, I'm gonna be that dude. I'm gonna be fighting, main events, world titles, pay-per-views, and now it's here. So it's not like a big surprise to me. I knew I'd put in the work, beat the guys I needed to beat, and I'd be here. But yeah, it's still really cool to see, on the billboards and, main events. It's awesome.
I wanted to touch on something you said there. Alex Volkanovski gave his breakdown of this fight the other day, and he said something interesting. He said, sometimes when you're watching a fighter's story, it just sort of feels like there's a way it's meant to go. And he says, like, hey, Aljamain on paper looks like he wins this fight, but something about you has this sort of like momentum, and this is where we're headed. Do you feel that way going into Saturday night? Like there's kind of a touch of destiny, like I'm meant to win the world title here, so I'm just going to go out and do it?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said no. It definitely feels like it's playing out that way, but I still have to get it into an octagon with Aljamain Sterling, the best bantamweight of all time, and do that magic. I still have to go out there and perform and do what it's all kind of looking like it's supposed to happen. I'm going to go out there and put his lights out. I still got to go out there and do it. And I'm 100% capable of that, and that's where I get that confidence from.
He believes you're giving off nervous energy heading into this fight, that you seem nervous. How would you describe your energy and your vibes? And even if there is a perceived nervous energy, is that necessarily a bad thing?
Nerves are good, but I don't know what nervous energy is that he's referring to. I think he said he saw me on TV and I looked hella nervous. I thought that was pretty cute. They're showing the highlights of the fight, and I'm getting excited about it. I don't know if that's nerves, but we'll see who's nervous when I step in that octagon with him and when he sees how much I fill out. And when I put my man strength on him, he's going to have no choice but to fold.
Aljamain, Sean has said leading into this fight that, he believes the weight cut is going to affect you. Henry Cejudo said the same thing. Do you think these guys really believe that the weight is going to compromise you, or is it just that they need it to sort of rely on something to motivate themselves?
This is what I've been having. So I don't think there's any weight cut that's going to be an issue for myself, So if these guys are banking on me missing weight, over what history, what track record do I have of ever missing weight? So if you want to bank on, he's going to have a tough weight cut. Henry did the same thing. I wonder where's Sterling. He's probably still cutting weight. Like, dude, you're flyweight coming up to 35, Life is good for you. So, of course, it's going to be a little bit easier for him. It's always tough, but I make the weight like a professional. And I always show up on championship weight, and I think I'm under. So if that's what he's banking on, good luck. Don't take that luck to the casinos, because you ain't going to win. And I can't wait for Friday. Weigh in, and then we're just one step closer to smashing this dude and going out there and having my victory tour.
You've mentioned that he's the greatest bantamweight in UFC history a few times in the build-up to this. I think you might be the first person to outright come out and say it. I think everyone's saying he's one of. What do you think the distinction is that makes him the best of all time?
Who's better?
I guess the argument would be Dom Cruz.
I don't see it.
Fair enough. Is this a wrestler versus striker match that everyone says it is?
Yeah, hard to not say that one. I do see that striker versus grappler matchup is a very accurate way to. I mean, even if you look at statistically speaking from all of our fights, this is a striker versus grappler matchup. I am going to keep it on the feet. He wants to take it to the ground. It's no secret.
Is the only way you can win this fight by knockout, or can you beat him over decision by just playing it long, keeping him rangy, and not letting him get his hands around your waist?
Yeah, 100%. That is a possibility. I go into every fight with the mindset of two things. I want to put this dude's lights out, but I'm also mentally, physically prepared for 25 minutes. So me winning a decision there's possibility to that.
There's a lot of talk about Sean O'Malley's star power and how he's got the it factor and he's like this guy that the UFC can see putting money behind. Do you see an it factor in him, or do you just think it's the machine pushing him that's given him this sort of platform to say he has that it factor?
I think if anyone had the same Snoop Dogg promoting their fight after coming off the Contender Series, I think anyone could have become a superstar like that overnight, because it's hype. It's hype, especially when you're going out there and you're fighting other guys that should not be in the cage with you. It's easy to stack up the resume and get these highlights. I mean, I'm finishing guys in the top 10, top 15. There's a significant difference in doing that against caliber opponents versus guys who just aren't in the show anymore. There's a reason why they're not in the show anymore. I'm not saying that they can't get back, but I'm just calling the facts how it is. The it factor, I don't know what it is. I don't get it. I mean, he has a flashy style in the sense of he gets knockouts, but the guys he's knocking out, I mean, for the casual fan, that's cool. But for the hardcore fans who actually tune in and watch the sport, I think they're smart enough to understand what's what, and you could kind of pick and choose. Like, yeah, he's had an easier path, and he's made it. He did what he was supposed to do with the competition that was put in front of him. But let's not make any mistakes about it. Like, you put that against a lot of these other guys, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to highlight them. Petr Yan's going to highlight them. Corey Sandhagen is going to highlight them. Song Yadong is going to highlight them. Marab's going to highlight them. I'm going to highlight them. So what are we talking about? So give me those opportunities. My third UFC fight, I fought a ranked opponent who was ranked 6th in the world. I have not gone back since. So I think that speaks volumes in itself. And that's what gives me the confidence coming into Saturday night at UFC 292. And I can't wait to go out there and just smash the teacher's pet hype machine and go on with my day. And then I could start to really promote my Funk Harbor. And I got a bottle for Dana too. So it's gonna be a good time in Boston.
So LJ has been saying a lot lately that the UFC gave you a year so you could prepare and get better at your grappling, your wrestling, and all that. What's your response to that? They said, hey, Henry's going to fight Aljo. I said, all right, cool. I'm going to, I wasn't not hurting for money like some of these guys that have to turn around and fight again real quick. I'm balling. So I was like, all right, sweet. I'll, take this time, improve, enjoy life, and I'll fight when the time's right. August 19th in Boston sounds like, sounds like a good time. When you faced off with him after he beat Cejudo, you said you better be better than that. But this week you've kind of changed a little bit, saying you're really impressed with his skills in that. So why the change?
Well, I do. His skills are. He's beat the guys he's beat. He beat TJ, beat Henry, beat Peter, beat Corey. Like the guy is. There's no. He's as good. He's that good. I'm just saying he better. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of opportunities. Henry's. He's like this tall. He was cracking him. I think he landed a head kick. I think he hopped up and landed a head kick. So I'm just saying you better not, make those same mistakes against me, because I will put your lights out. I snipe people.
One of the things that's been talked about is that he's defended the belt. He's fought for the title. He's fought main events. He's fought 25 minutes. All things that you really haven't. So obviously he's looking at as a big advantage. I'm sure you're disagreeing with that. Talk about that.
I wouldn't disagree with that. If he's fought 5-5s and he's, I haven't fought 5-5s. There's probably, you could say, an advantage to have doing that before. That's, my plan is to not even let it get to that point.
But yeah, I mean, technically, he's done that. I haven't. Probably be an advantage.
I saw a recent interview with Sean where he said, it was about a week ago, he said that there's going to be a big mental part of the game. And he goes, "You're not ready for the mental war." What's your response to that?
Piotr Jan for 1 year. I think that was pretty mental warfare right there. So, and it wasn't just the fans; it was himself also talking some shit. So, if that's not mental warfare, then I don't know what is. I look forward to the games. He was quiet this entire build up to this fight. The only time he made some noise is when he came in the octagon with me, and I showed him who was the boss that night, and I'm gonna show him who's the boss on Saturday night, August 19th. We'll see what mental warfare, man. I got my mantra, man. Too tough, too strong, too quick, and I can't be broken. So if none of these guys were able to break me over the years, I don't know what in the world makes Sean O'Malley thinks he has something that he can say that would be witty enough, clever enough, or that can knife through my mental mindset. Hey, whatever makes him sleep at night, man. That's what's going to make him feel comfortable making that walk. He's going to get a reality check as soon as that cage door locks. It's as simple as that. And the clock is ticking.
With the extra 2 rounds, how you change your training just, to make sure you can go 25?
Add 2 rounds to everything. It's it's basically like getting in 2 fights in one night. So just adding 2 rounds to sparring, strength and conditioning, hitting mitts, grappling, just adding those extra 2 rounds. Sucks, by the way. 5-5 is like not fun.
And my last question, obviously, you have a huge fan base. I'm assuming in Boston, last name O'Malley, you have a lot of fans. But, of course, with that, top guys also have the people who don't like him. A lot of people saying you shouldn't have won your last fight, or you didn't deserve this. You win. You're the champion. What's your response to those guys?
I don't really have a response to them. I'll probably, try to defend my title in December in Vegas. That's, I don't really care what people say. It doesn't really affect me. I like kind of being the underdog, being doubted. Going into this fight, I don't really have much pressure on my shoulder. He's the bantamweight GOAT. He's on a 9-fight win streak, and he's saying I haven't even earned this shot. How stupid will he look when I go out there and knock him out, and not even have earned being in that position and putting his lights out? Makes him look real stupid.
So I saw him in an even more recent interview where he kind of took a different side, and he talked about him being a striker. You're known for your grappling, and he basically admitted if it stays on the feet, he wins. Almost admitting that if you take him down, he loses. His coach kind of said something similar. What's your response to that?
It's weird. It's weird, man. I don't take anything that they say I take it with a grain of salt, man. At the end of the day, I know he can grapple. I'm not saying he's completely awful, but I think we all know that there's levels to grappling. I've shown that in the past. I've defeated his grappling coach and outpositioned him and took him down multiple times. 2-time ADCC world champion. What the hell is Sean O'Malley going to do? What, he submitted Takanori Gomi and everyone's like, oh. Dude, come on, man. Come on. There's levels to this. I'm still grappling with bigger dudes. I'm having my way with them still, and I'm cutting weight, So if he thinks I can't strike, a lot of other opposition thought the same thing, and I think I did a pretty good job of outstriking them. And I think the stats speak for themselves. So it's up to me to just go out there and just do what I do best, bring the funk, and leave this guy face down, ass up.